My day-to-day symptoms of COVID-19, also known as coronavirus, from my own personal experience and what happened to me personally. So this is not medical advice. This is just my own experience and what I did and how I was able to overcome this in a much quicker way than most people have, even with some of the symptoms that people end up having that linger for weeks, if not months at a time, after other symptoms are gone. And I'm going to show you what I did and how I was able to achieve success. One of the first symptoms I had was a sore throat. Now, it didn't feel like strep throat, but there was definitely a soreness feeling, and it hurt a little bit more when I was trying to actually talk. But this is definitely one of the first symptoms, and this is something that I experienced just about right away. It was basically where, and this always happens if I'm getting any type of cold or any type of bacterial viral infection, where my mouth feels kind of hot and it starts feeling warm. That's when I know that I'm starting to come down with something. And my throat is usually the first symptom that appears after that, in my own experience. The second symptom I experienced right around the time I was getting the sore throat was a minor headache. This wasn't a major headache, such as a migraine, but it was a noticeable headache that I could feel, but I could still get work done and other things I needed to do during the day. But this was the second noticeable symptom in the first day. The next symptom I experienced was chills, and this was also on day one, and it was minor the first day. And once again, in my experience, I have to admit, it wasn't really that huge of a deal, but I had a slight feeling of chills that was noticeable the first day. Day 2. My symptoms for day 2 were as follows: congestion and runny nose. Sometimes it was just, it can considerably, noticeable runny nose where it's just really running down from both nostrils. So it was congested, but then the runny nose would kind of take the congestion away somewhat at that time. I did have a cough. It wasn't a major cough. I would classify it as a mild cough. In years past, when I had other illnesses that did produce a cough, it was much more serious. I did have a noticeable tightness in my chest. I wasn't completely out of breath with activity, but I did notice that I was starting to get tired. And remember, I still had the other symptoms that I had on day 1 were still continued on day 2. Day 3. In day 3, I had the same symptoms, except feeling a little more sluggish than the previous 2 days, but I also felt a little more irritable. I know this may sound like a weird symptom, but this is how I, once again, personally felt. I felt really just irritated and irritable, and that's just how I was feeling, in addition to the other symptoms on day 3. Also on day 3, my runny nose had actually gotten worse. It was pretty much like a post-nasal drip. It was really coming out a lot faster. So the novel coronavirus was definitely getting some reactions from my body's own natural defenses in trying to fight this off. And in my experience, anytime I have a cold, I always have an issue like this, but this one was a little bit more intensified than a regular cold. Day 4. Day 4 symptoms were pretty much similar to the first 3 days, except I did notice a little bit more of a fever, and I was a little bit more tired this particular day as well. The cough wasn't necessarily continuous cough because it was maybe less than 10 times throughout the whole day, but it did have its spurt where it would come and then it would just, it would go. And then the biggest symptom I experienced was the loss of taste and smell. It really pretty much diminished at this particular state on day 4. And my breathing difficulties, I noticed when I was sitting in bed before I go to sleep, I could just feel it, and I still had the tightness in my chest. Although I was getting better, but I could still feel this particular symptom on day 4. Day 5. On day 5, this is where my coronavirus symptoms really started to take a turn for the better. Meaning that, for me, they started getting better at a much faster pace since I started doubling up on my coronavirus treatment. And I'm going to get into that here very shortly on what I did and some of the mistakes I made and how I was able to overcome this, especially once I lost my taste and smell. That's where things really started to make me want to push this harder, because it's not fun eating food where you cannot taste. If you can't smell, you can't really taste. I had very small amount of taste at day 4, and it was horrible. And then day 5, it was still there, and I said, all right, this is something I got to take control of this now, before everything I'm eating is just gonna be bland. So that's exactly what I did. My at-home coronavirus treatment was something that I was able to do at home since there was not a coronavirus vaccine. It wasn't even out yet several weeks ago, and there was no chance of me being able to take advantage, if I wanted to, in taking a coronavirus vaccine for my coronavirus treatment. So this is what I did. So on day 5, what did I do to really boost my coronavirus treatment? And what did I really do to make my healing go to another level that reduced my coronavirus symptoms? Well, it is all of this as you can see here. I'm going to go little by little and explain this. Number 1, first is hydration. I don't promote any of these companies. All the links will be below in the About section for your convenience. But this is something that I used and really helped me. This Revival here has all your B vitamins, vitamin C. It's like a little stick of powder. You just pour it in the drink, you stir it, and you drink. I haven't tried the other flavors. I read some of the reviews that the blue one would turn your mouth blue, so I just stuck with the simple orange. It tastes fine to me. Of course, when you do lose your taste, you're not going to taste anything, but you will as your senses start coming back. I'm going to show you that here in a second, what I did. So I did 2 of these per day, 1 in the morning and 1 at night. I also used the pink coconut water, which I picked up at Costco. Again, not promoting Costco. This is a 14 ounce. You get 6 of these. I'm also not promoting this brand, but this is just what I had access to. I feel that this, in my opinion, is one of the best store-bought ones. It's got a lot of antioxidants, and I would just pour this on frozen berries and with a banana and some apricots and dried apricots, and that really helped to give me some nutrients. Even if I couldn't taste anything, it just still helped me to be able to eat the food and have some type of enjoyment. And then I used oregano oil. And again, all these links will be below in the about section. This is undiluted 86% carvacrol. Meaning it doesn't have any olive oil or anything mixed in with the bottle, which is important because then you could just take 3 or 4 drops, put it in about 2 or 3 ounces of water, and drink it. Now, if the coconut oil is on your lips, it makes it easier because the oregano oil will burn your lips. So I always did just a little smudge of the coconut on your lips. It's great for your skin, great for your lips. This is unrefined virgin coconut oil, meaning that it's not refined. You'd always want to get unrefined. And then I would put a little bit on my lips after I drank, in case there was any burning sensation. So before and after. And then I did this oregano oil. I used this. I really stepped up on the 5th day. Once I lost my smell, I boosted up, started doing 3 or 4 drops. Once right when I got up, and then 2 hours later again, and I did it again after I ate my first meal, which would be berries with the coconut water, because they were frozen. I needed the coconut water to kind of take that back down, and kind of melt those basically, and it did it very quickly and gave me some more antioxidants. Then I would do this again after I ate dinner, and then I would do it again before I went to bed. And since it was a brand new bottle and not the one that I was traveling with that was old and had been in the sun, it really intensified my healing and really started knocking it out even faster. I would not use this as a way to try to sense your smell. It can actually make your smell worse if you're really trying to sniff it. I made that mistake. Taken internally is what you want to do. This one is meant for internal use, and it's very, very high quality. And with it being undiluted, gave it a lot of power and really helped in my experience, my personal experience. Again, this is not medical advice on what I did. What did I use to get my scent back? This is it right here. And this is essential oils. And I had this already on order because I kind of figured I might lose my scent. And on the 5th day I started using these. I would just take it, put it right by my nose, and just kind of move it in between my nostrils, just kind of smelling as I normally would smell something. And don't inhale it. That's not going to help. And don't do all these at once. Do one at a time. I started with the white tea, then I went to the rose, and then a few hours later I would do the other one, and then so on all the way to the cherry blossom. And that really helped bring my scent back, which therefore helped with my taste. There was a point where it just didn't taste like anything on the 5th day. Then about 3 days later, I really started getting some taste back. And then by the 10th and 11th and 12th day, I really started noticing a difference. It was gradual, it was little by little. It's not you do this and the next day you're going to wake up and everything's normal. It doesn't work that way. You got to retrain your body's senses, and these have a particular chemical in there that helps wake up the body's senses. And these essential oils are for external use only. Do not put these in water. Do not drink them. And again, I'm not promoting this company, but all the links will be below in the About section. This is what I use personally. So this is the best thing that I personally did to really help me, and it may help you if you have a coronavirus diagnosis. You definitely want to do what works for you, but all I can do is tell you my own personal experience. And with eating healthy and vegetables and fruit, this is what I did to really overcome this. Any questions, go ahead and leave it in the comments. Unfortunately, I can't really answer and give any advice. Once again, this video is just simply my own experience. Thank you so much, everyone. Wish you all the best. Bye-bye.